Hello everyone, this is Icy Cup Railcoon here for Icy Cup TV and our coverage of the Global Gamers Invitational. This time we have Tarson versus Avoid, Game 2 of their best of 3 matchup in the round of 32. This is a Terran versus random matchup. I got that right this time. Avoid has random Protoss and is the purple Protoss over here at 3 o'clock, up against Tarson as the red Terran at 12 o'clock on Scrap Station. So this is going to be an interesting matchup as Scrap Station plays out pretty interestingly, and the random player, having lost Game 1, is the one who chose Scrap Station. So not knowing what matchup he was going to get, this is an interesting map choice because of the fact of the really wide ramps, the destructible rocks here and in the middle as well, the high yield all the way down here. It winds up making it play out as a very, very different map. And oh no, Tarson with the proxy barracks gets scouted immediately. That's crazy. He cancels it and starts just making his barracks at home. He's going to take his medicine instead of trying to force this down his opponent's throat. Probably the best decision to make in that situation, as Tarson makes a little bit of an "oh no, you scouted me" face in chat. So he's gonna get his barracks up and a supply depot as well. He will be able to salvage this and not be like super far behind, as it will allow him to get a quick orbital command out. So it's not like that being scouted is just the worst thing in the world. All it really means is that he's a couple of SCVs behind. As you can see, it's 11 to 13. But like I said, the orbital command will allow him to catch up pretty effectively in the early game. So we're just going to have to wait and see what Tarson's game plan is now that his big plan got busted. It's a pretty good map to try that on, though maybe his placement could have been a little bit better. Especially when you're ahead in a best of 3 series. You know, starting off with something like that when your opponent chooses a map like Scrap Station, the worst thing that will happen is that you go on to Game 3. If you're confident in your ability to take the Game 3, then why not? So it's a somewhat popular strategy to cheese Game 2 in best of 3 tournament matches. We do see the Marine of Tarson walking all around his base, just making sure there weren't any counter proxies laid down by Avoid. I do like that, but look all the way down here by the destructible debris. Leading into this other expansion, yet more destructible debris on this map that I didn't point out earlier. He is placing a proxy pylon in an interesting position, and down there it makes me think he's going to go for hidden tech, as that is outside of both circles of vision of these Xel'Naga watchtowers. This area right about in here doesn't get scouted by the Xel'Naga watchtowers. Actually, it's a little bit too big. It's about this big, if I remember correctly. So he's got that place just in the perfect position to be able to hide tech and be certain it's not scouted unless he finds it on foot. So very interesting placement by Avoid, but it could wind up being very, very effective for him. If we look back to Avoid's base, he's training a single sentry, and this is a little bit dangerous because if Tarson had done this in particular, his concussive shells has not even started. Never mind. Usually with this sort of an opening, the Terran player will get concussive shells. There is a variation on this called the Cawthon Luck build, where you get the concussive shells and you also get a Reaper. Oh no! Is he going to scout this pylon? And what the Reaper does is it allows you to jump up the cliff and get vision up the ramp, so that you're able to see up the ramp without getting taken out by stalker shots before you're able to get the vision up the ramp with the new high ground mechanics in StarCraft 2. It can be very effective if you control the Reaper properly and prevent yourself from losing the Reaper. Your Marauders are able to do a lot of damage. That stalker did wind up getting killed by these Marauders even without that slowing shot, which is a little bit surprising, as usually this push opens up with the concussive shells, but it does look like he's wanting to move into the Marine transition very, very quickly, as he's getting combat shields before stim, puts on a reactor onto a barracks and a Ghost Academy. So Tarson is going to continue to be aggressive here as he starts to wind up a pretty decent biocomposition with Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts right off the bat. So that is what he's going to be doing with all of this gas that he's stockpiling at the moment. The stalker's pushing up the cliff, and that's why I kind of like the concussive shells, because he probably would have been able to take out a couple of those zealots and or sentries there if he had researched concussive shells. It's only about 50-50 minerals, and the research time is pretty short compared to combat shields and the stim pack. So shields are about to finish. I assume he's going to queue stim up right afterwards, because I would assume this stim would be much more effective with stim. There it is. He is going to indeed do that. But a Void is working on his expansion. So if he can hold this effectively, then he's going to be in a pretty decent position. He still has this pylon down here for hidden tech. If he cares to go for... Excuse me. If he cares to go for Dark Templar tech later on... Oh, maybe another sneeze coming. One moment. Okay, apparently not. So, as we look back at Tarson's base, he does have the Ghost Academy done. Still pumping out Marauders from his tech lab, and he's going for a starport. Probably get Medivacs out on the field and help heal his bio. With that stim, I would expect to see a Ghost queued up after this Marauder, because he's going to want to start stockpiling energy for EMP. And usually you get more than one EMP worth of energy, though he could just let this single Ghost stockpile all the energy. It's a little bit risky, as if your Ghost gets slightly out of position and you wind up losing it, then your push becomes much less effective. So a Void's expansion comes up, and he's going to Maynard a bunch of workers over there. The scouting factory of Tarson tries to land and make some Hellions, but a Void was already looking all around his base just to make sure he didn't try anything cheesy, so he's going to be all over that. He does add a 4th gateway and a robotics facility. So he's looking good on his transition into the mid-game, and if Tarson wants to do something, he's going to have to move out pretty soon before the macro kicks in for a Void. But I'm going to pause it right here, and we're going to break the game and come back for part 2.